evening, everyone. Today we're going to talk about a topic on what is true delight in the Buddhist teachings, especially in the Theravada Buddhist teachings. What is true delight? Now, anyone knows the Pali term for delight? Nanda, right? It's Nanda. We can see a couple other terms in Pali for similar context, like santutti. In one stanza it goes like arogya paramalabha santutti paramandana. Health is the best gain, and santutti paramandana, joy is the best wealth. So it's joy. But in the jhanic practices, in the samatha meditation, we get to know there are some components of jhanas, absorptions, like it's a higher practice under samatha meditation. In that we find there is a word called piti. Also we find this Pali word called piti in the Bojjhangas. Piti. It is usually translated as rapture. It's kind of a spiritual type of joy. But in here, Nanda is delight. But as we discussed last week, we talked about that Buddhism talks about two types of truths. One is sammuti satcha, which means conventional truth, that is more applicable to secular life, while the other satcha, which is called paramatta satcha, which is called the ultimate truth, that is applicable to ultimate truth. Now today we're going to talk about this conventional truth from the point of view of a deva, deity, and the ultimate truth from the point of the Buddha. Okay, so we should not confuse. Usually in the suttas in the Samyutta Nikaya, especially in the first section, we call them Devata Samyutta, whereby deities come and then see the Buddha and ask a question. This is the 12th sutta called Nandati Sutta, Sutta on delight. So what happens in the sutta is one deity, Deva, approach the Buddha and then ask a question. I read the Pali stanza first. Nandati puttehi puttima gomiko gohi tatheva nandati upadehi narassa nandana nahiso nandati yo nirupaditi. Now, even though this sutta has only 2 verses, but the meaning is much deeper. English translation: one who has sons delights in sons. I don't know why he does not mention about the daughters, but it usually goes with this man-based perspective in India at that time. Anyway, so one who has sons delights in sons, because at that time in Indian society they had a belief that having a son for their whatever their generational things, but it was not the idea of the Buddha. Buddha did not encourage that thought. Anyway, one who has sons delights in sons. One with cattle delights in cattle. So cattle, like one who had these cows and animals, usually they were happy because they had those animals. And the Pali term called upati now, acquisitions truly are a man's delight. Without acquisitions, one does not delight. So when man or woman has like sons and daughters, or things like cattle, cows, or other real estate, all these things, Deva thinks that deity thinks that is the true delight of humankind. Okay, and then he was telling this idea to the Buddha. Now, acquisitions is what we understand by upadi. We're going to discuss that upadi in clear terms after this. And Buddha said a different idea. Sochati puttehi puttima, gomiko gohi tatheva sochati, upadihi narassa sochana, nahiso sochati yo nirupadi. Now Buddha suggests, he talks about the ultimate truth, not about the secular truth. On a secular context, yes, anyone who has sons and daughters can be really happy, right? At a secular level, there's no argument. And also about the acquisitions, other things like whatever other things that person has already acquired. But at the ultimate level, one who has sons sorrows over sons or such beings. One with cattle sorrows over cattle. Acquisitions truly are a man's sorrows. Without acquisitions, one does not sow. So that idea is at the ultimate truth level. Now we have to find out what is upadi, now which we call with the English word called acquisitions. What is upadi in the Pali context, in the Buddhist teachings? Anyone knows what is upadi? It's a very inclusive word in Pali language. Upadi, acquisitions, but we will discuss what they are. There are 4 types of upadis. Now I looked at the commentary to this sutta. Etta upaditi chattaru upadi. Kama, kanda, kilesa, abhisankara. Okay? So the acquisitions in terms of the secular world are 4 types of acquisitions. The first one is kama, second kanda, third kilesa, fourth abhisankara. What is kama? Anyone knows what is kama? Kama is normally there are 2 types of kamas actually when we carefully look at the Buddhist teachings. The first one is subjective sensuality, and the second one being objective sensuality. Now subjective sensuality means that we have this sense desire to whatever desire stuff, right? Let's say there are 5 types of sense desires, which you call seeing, hearing, smelling, touching, tasting, and then thinking, right? So these are the sensual desires. So if someone has sensual desire for all of these 5, that is called subjective sensuality. We call that thing in Pali in couple terms: kama chanda, kama raga, kama tanha, kama vitaka. So all these Pali terms refer to sense desire to all of these 5 things. The second thing is objective sensuality. So someone develops a liking towards specific sensual or sensuality. Let's say someone develops a liking towards seeing, just seeing, maybe hearing, maybe other things. So they all call kama. And Buddha says kama can be described in 2 more contexts. We call it vattu kama and kilesa kama. Now on a secular note, we know you need these sensual things, right? You need a vehicle, you need people around you, you need money, you need real estate, right? So that is called vattu kama, right? So kama as the object-based sensuality. But the problem is, if someone is going to develop that vattu kama to a level that person is getting polluted, especially in terms of the mind, with greed, hatred, and ignorance. So that's a problem. So Buddha asks us to consume those things with a perspective of letting go at any time. We don't know when these people like stuff is going to go away from us for unidentified, for very unexpected reasons. But if we using these things with the perspective that we want, we would not be able to let go these things, there will be a problem for our mentality. So basically, one of the upadis is calm. So sense desire, or sense desire, or 5 sense desires. Okay, so that's an acquisition to the Buddha. Second is kanda. What is kanda? Ka is aspirate actually. Kanda is 5 aggregates. There are 5 aggregates. Buddha says there is no man, woman, and anything at the ultimate level. It's just the 5 aggregates. What are they? Rupa, Vedana, Sanya, Sankhara, and Vijnana. Right? So it's a very basic interpretations of any being. Buddha says we identify beings with different names. Let's say an animal, a cat, dog, man, woman. Right? But at the ultimate level, there is no cat, no man, no woman. It's just the amalgamation of the 5 aggregates. 5 aggregates must present to call a being, right? So what is rupa? Rupa is matter, right? It's the matter, right? And then vedana, feeling, right? So we have different feelings, right? Could be pleasant, unpleasant, or a neutral. Sanya, what is sanya? Perception, right? It's a perception. So we perceive things, right? We have a perception, like we have a perception now we are in a place like this, maybe in a meditational setup, right? Yeah, perception. So perceptions are based from your subjective previous understanding as well as your new understanding, maybe future understanding, right? Perceptions. Sanya. Sankhara, formation, right? Those are pretty much Pali, English translation given with an emphasis on Pali words. Sankhara is formation. What is formation?
It's like thought, like an idea.
Idea, yeah. And in this context, it also has the karma, right? Karma thing. So the karmic potentials that we've been carrying from past lives also. So rupa is matter, vedana feeling, sanya perception, sankhara formation, which has this thoughts thing, and then vijnana is the consciousness. Okay, so when these 5 present at one place, we call that there is a being existing, right? When one of these is gone, there is no being thing that we can talk about. So Buddha says one of the acquisition under the upadi is kanda. So these 5. First is kama, sensual desires, all those 5, hearing, tasting, and 5. The second is 5 aggregates. Third is kilesa. What is kilesa in Pali? Defilements. When our mind is polluted, we call it, now there's a defilement. Now, in one of the suttas called Madhupindika, in the Majjhima Nikaya, Buddha, actually one of his disciples called Mahakaccayana, Venerable Mahakaccayana, describes how our mind is proliferated. When can you know that your mind is proliferated? When your thought is polluted with tanha, greed, which you call craving, mana, measuring, sizing up, and ditti, views. Could be political views, could be your other views about the worldly life. Then that mind is proliferated, which we call it in the sutta papancha. When your mind becomes papancha, proliferated, that means your mind is polluted with tanha, mana, ditti. Now this whole thing is called kilesa. Now when your mind is polluted, proliferated with tanha, mana, ditti, craving, measuring, and then views, then what happens? You are exporting kilesas, defilements. Okay. Now kilesa has a long and a very descriptive, analysis in the Buddhist teachings. There are 10 fundamental kilesas that we need to identify in the first place. What are they? Lobha, dosa, moha, mana, ditti, vichikicha, tīna, uddacca, ahirika, anuttappa. Lobha is greed, so any type of greed. Dosa is hatred. Moha is ignorance. It's not just the ignorance about anything, it's about ignorance about the Four Noble Truths. Okay. Mana is measuring. Ditti is views. Vichikicha is doubts about 8 things. Tīna is the could be a kind of a laziness of your mind to execute skillful activities. Uddacca is restlessness of your mind. That is why we meditate, right? Because our mind is naturally restless. And ahirika, what is ahirika? Ahirika is lack of moral, shame. Sometimes we lose this. We lack in moral shame in not doing bad things, right? In not talking bad words, in not having bad thoughts. So we should be morally ashamed of not making that. So that's also a defilement. And anuttappa is moral fear, right? So we are morally not in a way that we are scared at someone, but we are looking at our own activity. So these are the 10 main defilements, and Buddha identifies that kilesa is also one of the acquisitions that we are collecting day-to-day life at the ultimate truth level. The last acquisition called abhisankara. What is abhisankara? Abhisankara? Anybody found this word in your Dhammic reading? Abhisankara. Have you ever studied about Mara in the Buddhist teachings? Who is Mara? Is Mara an individual or just a concept in the Buddhist teaching? Some people actually contrast Mara to Satan in the Christianity, but it's a different thing.
Mara is a being, but also a personification of the concept. Mara's name means death. Mara, from murder, to die.
Yeah,
so
and
Mara,
evil, right?
Yeah. So Mara is the Grim Reaper. Sort of.
Yeah, like Buddha says, like someone is stuck to greed, hatred, delusion, and all these defilement. That means Mara is running in them. So it's something like that. But there are 5 types of Maras in the Buddhist teaching. I'm gonna tell you who they are and how we're gonna specifically understand. Personification of Mara and Nandati is 5. The first Mara is Kanda Mara. So now, who is that Kanda Mara? If anybody carries a body with 5 aggregates, that person becomes a Mara. So, I mean, we all are Maras at that point. Because we all carry, if we are beings, then we carry 5 aggregates. So we are then Maras in that context. Okay? Because when we have 5 aggregates, we may execute bad things, right, at any point. Second thing is Kandamara and Kilesamara, because we have the potential of doing, talking, thinking bad things or words or thoughts. We are also Maras at that point. But one cannot be a Mara too, right? If they are really careful about their actions, thoughts, and words, they won't be a Mara. But when you are not really careful of supervising of what you are doing, what you are thinking, what you are talking, then you can be Maras. So Kandamara, Kilesamara, and then Machumara. That's the individual. I mean, that we talk about. We have found out in some textual references, this guy Mara has come to see the Buddha and then asked about the next life of some monks. There was a monk who was trying to meditate but didn't work. And then what happened? He was trying to cut his throat with a kind of a knife because he was really upset about his meditation practice. Don't worry about your practice, right? There were monks who were not happy about their meditation practice at the Buddha time. The Buddha was actually alive at that time. And what happened? He was cutting his, this part throat with that knife. The Mara was actually, looking carefully, looking at what's going on, and he was really happy. Monk was not able to attain any spiritual stages. And then what happened? The monk cut his throat off with that knife, and then he passed away. But Mara didn't know what really happened, whether he was born where he really thought that he was reborn. Usually when monks or anybody attain Nibbana, they are not supposed to be reborn. So he thought, this monk may have been reborn, but I don't know where he was reborn. So he approached the Buddha, and then, who was the monk's name? Godika, Venerable Godika. And then he approached the Buddha during the day, or I don't know what time, and asked, do you know where Venerable Godika was reborn? And Buddha said, people like you can't trace. Because he actually practiced the mindfulness of feelings just before he died. He was an arahant. He won't be reborn. That's why he could not trace. Right? So there are, in the mindfulness practice, there are 4 types of mindfulness. Mindfulness of body, feelings, kaya anupassana, vedana anupassana, mindfulness on the thoughts, and mindfulness on Dhamma. So that monk, fortunately, could practice mindfulness on feelings, that unpleasant feeling of getting, cut off this thing. So he could sort of focus on that and attain the Nibbana. So in that incident, Mara was an individual and who approached the Buddha and then asked. So that's the third Mara. He was an individual according to some sources, but still there are different thoughts going on among scholars. So Kandamara, Mara as someone who has 5 aggregates, refers to all of us beings. Kilesa Mara as someone who has kilesas, defilements, refers to all of us beings, all beings. And then Machu Mara as an individual who does not like people attaining Nibbana, spiritual stages, individual. And then Abhisankara Mara. Now this is the word I was trying to get at. Abhisankara. What is Abhisankara in the Buddhist teaching? Abhisankara simply means karma. Karma is a Pali term. Abhisankara. Now this refers to us, those of the beings who accumulating karma also are maras too, because we've been always creating good, bad, mixed karmas, right? So Abhisankara is another word for karma. Now it's the same word that we use in the Paticcasamuppada, the dependent origination. That's the context of everything in the world, according to universe, to the Buddha. Avidya paccaya sankhara, sankhara paccaya vijnana. So avidya paccaya sankhara, because we don't know these 4 noble truths. That's why we are struggling with sankharas. So sankhara formations. So abhisankara also means the same formation. So the last type of Mara is called Devaputta Mara. In Buddhism, there are 6 heavens. What are they? What are those 6 heavens in Buddhism? Anyone wants to be reborn in one of the heavens? Chaturmaharajika, Yama, Tusita, Tavatinsa, Nimmanrati, Paramita Vasuvati. Okay, 7. Okay, 6. So the 5th heaven and the 6th heaven are supervised by a Mara, but he's a divine Mara. He's a good guy. He's the one who is taking care of that particular 2 heavens. So the last Mara is that Mara. Okay, now you know Kanda, Kilesa, Abhisankara Maras are all of us, all the beings. And Machu Mara is that individual. And Devaputta Mara also an individual, but he's at a holistic level. So anyway, now Abhisankara, because we are creating karmas, good, bad, or neutral, that also is a reason of becoming a part of this upadi concept, acquisitions. So at the ultimate level, ultimate truth level, what we are normally acquiring is not the sons, not the daughters or whatever, but all of those people, individuals and material things are included under these four acquisitions called upadi. Kama, Kanda, Kilesa, Abhisankara. So Buddha says, if someone thinks that one can be delighted with their progeny, their generations, it's not the real delight thing, delightness. So it's not how that person can really be delighted. If someone thinks that person can be delighted because that person has acquired material things, that's not the real way of being delighted. Only if someone find a way to let go acquisitions with a non-judgment mentality, that's the place where someone is truly getting delighted. You may not, Buddha doesn't say you can use them, you can have people, you can have acquisitions, you may have, depending on what you really want. But you should also maintain a mentality perspective. These people, these things may walk away, go away at any time, unexpectedly. And Buddha asks the people, are you ready to accept that reality? And are you not getting upset at that time? So that's the mentality that we need to find out, and then that is how we're getting really delighted at the ultimate truth level. Okay? Any questions? And there's another Pali word called Upadi. Actually, Upadi and Upadi. Upadi is a different Pali term. Okay? It's a different term. Don't need to get confused about it. But in here, it's Upadi. It's a big concept. I think it includes almost everything in the Buddhist teachings, especially what we are doing with, defilements.
So, I have a question. Having a pet, like a cat or a dog, that's an acquisition?
According to this, it's an acquisition, but it doesn't mean one can have a pet. One can have a pet, but one should be able to have a perspective that one is not overly attached to, overly attached to,
Because unlike
in the event of, a loss.
The pet will die.
Yeah, in the event of a loss
after,
or
like,
emergency.
years, let's see.
Yeah, so then.
And then. So the word delighted.
Mm-hmm.
So you're delighted to have, like, the pet, but then when it passes away, you're very sad. So to be delighted the right way is to know that you have this acquisition, but you also know that you may leave at any one moment.
Yeah.
And you must not be overly upset,
Overly attached to.
overly attached.
Yeah, but you are doing everything that you can do to that pet or the people, right? Your responsibilities, your duties to them. But the problem is that when we are overly into someone, excessively into something, that thing is really maybe a difficult thing for us to, handle with at any point in the future. So, the deity says that, people can be really be delighted with these things, but Buddha says not.
Yeah.
It doesn't mean that you can have attachment to them. It does mean that you need to, while you are getting attached to the right people, right things. At the same time, you need to maintain a perspective of letting go. You know, that renunciation should also be a part of the attachment. But a lot of people, they do not add that renunciation, letting go part with attachment. They only take attachment, so, and then they are getting really upset, you know, because we're not going to stay with people forever, right? Or with things. Yeah. Now, there is another sutta. After this, I can't remember the name of the sutta. One deity suggests the Buddha, the best love in the world is the motherly love towards sons or daughters. And Buddha says, no, at the ultimate truth level, it's not the best love, it's the self-love. Now, he was actually trying to be very intellectual when he wanted to talk about this filial love or the best love. He was sharing something in this way. Now, when you are loving someone, what you are expecting is the love that comes from that person. When that person start stopping that love, the moment you feel like you're getting upset. I'm not talking about everybody. There could be some exceptions. So then it could be a part of this selfishness, because you are receiving something, when you don't get it, then you are getting upset about it. That means you was developing this same self-care, self-love. It's a different way of looking at it. But at the secular level, yeah, motherly love is the best love. That's what the Deva was telling the Buddha. But Buddha says at the ultimate truth level, it's not the best love. It's a self-love. So that on the other side, on another context, because of self-love, you're gonna spread loving kindness to other people too, right? So
that same, I think the idea is like the quality or the feeling of the love is different. When someone loves their spouse, or someone loves their pet, or a mother loves their children, or someone loves himself, the quality, the feeling of loving oneself is unconditional, profound, and unshakable. And so I think that's the point. It's not just that it's if you take that quality and expand that quality and make that your practice, you love yourself that way, obviously, because you already have that. You already have that, and then you take it and you kind of treat that as like the ember, and then you kindle the fire from that love, and you love other beings the same way. Then that would be like the highest practice of loving kindness.
Loving kindness, yeah. That's why we start from ourselves, and then we know how much we love us and people around us. But what unfortunately can happen to many is that they're gonna love profusely to their loved ones, and they're gonna actually reduce that same extent to other people, because they don't know other people. They are making some conditional points, like, as someone asked me, I don't know that guy, I don't like that guy, so can I exclude that guy from my practice of loving kindness? I said, no. This must be a unconditional practice, actually. So then that is loving kindness. Anyway, any more questions about delight, this true delight in the Buddhist teachings?
It seems to me that the stanza given by the Deva and the stanza given by the Buddha are both correct.
Correct.
They must come together.
Yeah.
It's that people, when they have their acquisitions, they delight in them. I think the Buddha's just supplying the other side of the coin, saying, yeah, it's true, but not the same.
Maybe Buddha may have wanted to make it more inclusive.
To kind of give a whole picture.
Yes, yes.
Sounds like they...
Yeah. So we should not take one or the other one as being the truth.
Yeah. It's just that the truth is complicated.
And as we talked about last week, the truth in the Buddhist teachings are twofold: conventional truth and ultimate truth. So then the Deva presents the version of conventional truth, while the Buddha talks about the ultimate truth. And when we need to understand these two, we need to understand two differently, and then try to aim at achieving the two in our life, because our life should be balanced out, right? If we only develop one over the other one, there might be a problem, right? Conventional truth and the ultimate truth, there are two versions, but must be understood separately. But when we are practicing these two, we have to balance out our life, because some are overly into ultimate truth. They're gonna let go everything, all the people, suddenly, all of a sudden, simply because they listen to a Dhamma talk, which is not good, right? Maybe you may have come to this point because you were, encourage, help with those people too, right? And some people, they just ignore the ultimate truth, only practice the, conventional truth. So these two must go in tandem, I guess. Okay. Okay. So let's share all the good karmas with the departed relatives and the deities. May all the good karmas be shared by all the departed relatives. May they be happy and peaceful. May they attain the supreme bliss of Nibbana. Sadhu, sadhu, sadhu. Idammi ñāti nangotu sukhita huntu ñātayo. Idammi ñāti nangotu sukhita huntu ñātayo. Idammi ñāti nangotu sukhita huntu ñātayo. Also, let's share all the good karmas with the deities who protect and bless all of us. May the deities be happy and peaceful and protect all of us and our families, friends, everybody. May the deities also be happy and peaceful. May they also attain the supreme bliss of Nibbana. Sadhu, sadhu, sadhu. Ittavata cha amhehi sambatang punya sampadang sabbe deva namodantu sabba sampatti siddhya. Ittavata cha amhehi sambatang punya sampadang sabbe bhuta anumodantu sabba sampatti siddhya. Ittavata cha amhehi sambatang punya sampadang sabbe satta anumodantu sabba sampatti siddhya. Akasattha ca bhummattha devanaga mahittika punyantang anumoditva chirang rakkhanthu loka sasanang. Akasattha ca bhummattha devanaga mahittika punyantang anumoditva chirang rakkhanthu desanang. Akasattha ca bhummattha devanaga mahittika punyantang anumoditva chirang rakkhanthu mang paranti. Finally, let's make a great wish. May all the good karmas we've been collecting so far help all of us to attain the supreme Nibbana as well. Sadhu, sadhu, sadhu. Now, monks will be reciting few stanzas to bless all of you. Abhivadana silisse nichang vadda pachayino chattaro dhamma vaddanti ayuvanno sukhang balang ayurarogya sampatti sagga sampatti mevache Atu nibbana sampatti iminati samicchatu. Sadhu, sadhu, sadhu. Okay. So let's bow down 3 times to Buddha.